So my cardiologist told me yesterday after applying EKG to my chest that I should try to stress my heart out a little bit for the next 2 days. I told her, no problem, I'm giving a live stream talk to a group of distinguished scientists. And I have to pack in 2 experiments results in 5 minutes. I'm already wasting time, so let's do this. So in collaboration with these fine scientists for my ongoing dissertation research, we have embarked on a quest to try to better understand the deeper relations between language, logic, and other complex cognitive domains. I'm trying to understand the brain basis behind this using a neuromodulatory technique called TMS. So how are language and these other domains related? Well, we know in language there are clear hierarchical structures, which we call syntax. And these other domains show these hierarchical structures as well, so complex actions can be broken down into smaller and smaller sub-actions, which are contingent on each other in order and other complex relations. Same can be said for music, for algebraic processing and deductive reasoning, logic, as well as the less often considered, but theory of mind can be shown to have a hierarchical structure as well. This is somebody thinking about somebody else thinking about about them having food. So I'll just show you the language and logic experiments that we've done so far. The theoretical background behind this has been proposed that there's a particular area / network, Broca's area, which traditionally a language region, but has been more recently considered as potentially a supramodal hierarchical processor that could be responsible across all these cognitive domains in processing these syntactic structures. How wonderful it would be if there was a single region or network that underlied all of these. If you think of it for clinical therapy, would be fantastic. We could neuromodulate this for therapeutic reasons, and it could magically improve you across the board. So seems unlikely, but we'll see. So that's the idea. We use TMS to modulate this region. We test them before and after stimulation and see what happens. So first experiment, just within the domain of language only, we had 2 kinds of tasks. They have to simply respond to whether or not it's syntactically correct, giving us accuracy and reaction time. For the second task, a little slightly more complex, they have to compare 2 sentences and say, are these congruent? You have to syntactically rearrange the bottom sentence to see whether or not it matches the top sentence. The design pretty straightforward. We are interested in Broca's area, which specifically here we are targeting the pars opercularis. And for this experiment, we did 2 separate stimulation sessions on the same region. Also the right side pars opercularis and a region in the occipital lobe for control purposes, so we can compare across that because we don't expect there to be any differences after sapping this non-cognitive region. For stimulation, we are using continuous theta burst, which is traditionally an inhibitory form of TMS, using BrainSight to neuronavigate it with a T1 weighted image. And we test them pre and post CTBS stimulation, counterbalanced and on separate days. So to unpack this slide a little bit, I ran a Bayesian drift diffusion model to take the accuracy and reaction time data, decompose it into certain latent variables that represent information processing. This one in particular, drift rate, has been considered to be an index of efficiency of processing. The higher the drift rate, the better you get, the lower the worse. And so what I'm showing here is comparing the difference between post and pre compared to when you zap Broca's area on the first or second time, or the right side, as compared to the non-cognitive control region. So the pattern here is that after stimulation of these 2 regions, they get worse. On the other task, same effect here, they get worse after stimulation when compared to the occipital region. So our conclusion, it seems that language seems to be dependent on this area and network. Now to investigate language and logic, we did a slightly different experiment, test them on language, test them on logic. They have to compare 2 sentences and say, are these congruent? We zapped mesial B88, which is a logic hub, hypothesized, Broca's area, and then our same control region. The main result here, we found an interaction effect such that stimulating Broca's area preferentially impaired linguistic reasoning, not seem to have a change, a reliable change on logic reasoning, whereas there was no reliable difference between the 2 after mesial B88. So from this, we tentatively conclude it seems like linguistic reasoning seems independent of deductive reasoning, by virtue of perhaps having different brain bases, areas, networks underlying it. Thank you.